And good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special GEMPC event. I am, as always, Dan Tartaglione, also known as DTartag1. Joining me from the land of, uh, I would say, from the bridge of the Enterprise, Mr. Tiberius himself, the Hall of Famer, Chris Gogolin. How you doing tonight, Chris? Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, like, what can be said outside of the whole fact that there is so many storylines for this match. Like you mentioned it. First of all, this is a rematch from 2 years ago, Mike versus Matt in the finals. This time, however, they're both teammates, so little difference. Uh, let's see what else. Oh yeah, Mike just came off the Mike at the he made the top eight at the Indianapolis event. Uh, Mike, he's finished second in 2023 and 2022. I mean, that right there is a huge accomplishment. I mean, this is his third straight finals for the GEMPC. And then you have Matt again, who won it 2 years ago. Um, like the storylines for this match are insane, and I cannot wait to get this one going. It's like, I mean, I will say this: like, if you throw like it's what the old saying, if you throw a stone or you throw something into a field, like, it's not like, I mean, you guys just have so many, but at the same time, both these players are really good. Yeah, I mean, Matt, again, they're saying that they can't hear you. I mean, we were talking a little. Yeah, it was pretty insightful. Okay, so it looks. Yeah, Mike's going with his dark side. Sorry, Sam. So the game is up. Let's go ahead and get into it. Again, Mike is going with his dark side. Matt playing light side. Here we go. Get PC finals, and we have QMC versus Shadow Collective. I'm not surprised
Okay.
by the Shadow Collective from Mike, but how do you feel about? I mean, and I'm not really surprised by the QMC.
No, certainly. Wait, you guys can actually hear me now, right? Okay.
Yeah, they say they hear you loud and clear, Mr. Tiberius.
Excellent. So, yeah, Mike obviously had good success with Shadow Collective in a number of events leading up to it, and QMC has certainly been a favorite of Matt's for a while and kind of fits his play style. So, not surprising these deck choices at all.
No, I agree. Like, I think, and I said this to you earlier, before we actually got into the game. I was not excited. I was not surprised to see my my the advocate Mike Kessling on Shadow Collective. I mean, he's been playing that deck for a while.
Mhm.
Uh, I know I said this on Hollow Theater from last week, that right before the Indianapolis event, he told me, I asked him what should I play. He said Shadow Collective. It's the best deck.
It's
Definitely
it's
regret not listening to Mike.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly one of the top three or four, and real solid, real able to handle a lot of variety. So, and I think too with the format of this event, with players having to lock in their decks by the top eight,
Mm-hmm.
like you could have a special deck set up for the finals, but if you don't know who you're playing and you're like, well, looking at who's on the other side of the bracket, it could be any of these four players. You're probably going to pick something you just feel really comfortable with and
Yeah.
feels, fairly versatile. And both of these decks fit that criteria for the players. So,
So Mike went ahead and grabbed Gull with the "You Cannot Hide Forever" combo. Matt responds by playing "Don't Do That Again" to suspend the card. However, Mike has the double back to pull Zuckuss and Forlom in the Misshunter. That's a great start for him. Sam,
hmm
thank you for your 61 months, being that you are a subscriber. Wayne, thank you for 26 months.
Congrats, guys. Thanks.
Get yourself some nice shiny cards for those. Both players have their grabbers out. Mike, again, going with You'll Be Dead, You Cannot Hide Forever, and mobilization points. And they will be... I always forget the name of the card. They will be no match for you.
Right.
Matt, going with the standard start for QMC, which is Keeping the Empire Out Forever, Belden's Eye, and All My Urchins.
Yeah, we've looked at a couple different. I've seen a couple different ways of setting this deck up, and sometimes you won't even start match, and you'll just start inconsequential because you know it's going to get suspended, and you'll just dig for the match or play multiples of it because it's a 5, so it doesn't really hurt you.
Doesn't matter. Mike had it in his hand.
And Mike doesn't need to pitch anyway, so that's the other possibility, of course, is that you just get lucky and get it. And now when he gets it active again by occupying Gaul, there are a couple Jedi in this QMC deck probably that will be defense value -1, make them a little easier to shoot.
Now, Maul's going to be really important in this game because, Matt is probably running Rescued in the Clouds, which is going to have the ability to cancel a target of a character that has ability less than 4, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Less than 5, I think.
Less than 5. So that kind of makes Mike's blasters almost useless. So that might be the card that he could dump or he could grab for it. That's another one. Sam is saying that he could pitch the card to go get something special planned as a grabber. I don't mind that. That's always a good one.
Especially if you need to grab something like Rescue in the Clouds, which will give you a little bit further. Because, that's the thing with QMC. Mm-hmm. There's like 5 interrupts you want to grab in this deck between Rescue in the Clouds, Path of Least Resistance, maybe Barrier, maybe, It's a Trap or Alternatives to Fighting because of all the recursion. And, there's just a lot of stuff usually in QMC that you want multiple grabbers for. Because even Tentacle making Barrier Lost isn't as much of a hindrance when you've got Celebration going and you're retrieving 2 or 3 cards a turn.
Well, not only will Matt possibly get Celebration going, he could also get Figure and Dan and the modal nodes out once he has like his 5 alien species. He can retrieve with that. There's so much possible retrieval with Quiet Mining Colony at this point. There's a reason why it was one of the most popular and most well played deck at Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the prominence of this deck and how difficult of a matchup it can be, it kind of makes you question, you want to have that Destiny 6 masterful move, but at the same time, you kind of want the combo to cancel Celebration.
Mm-hmm. And Eric Hunter asking in the chat if the lists were submitted before Indianapolis. Yes, they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these lists were submitted over a month ago, I think, so.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a while. So Matt going ahead and going out and getting the Overseer with Harksef. Now notice that we know that he's got that Mike has the first light, and he has the Zuckuss and Miss Hunter with Forlong. Do you necessarily want to go down with the Overseer turn 1 if you're Matt?
If he's got the Alternatives to Fighting, it's less of a concern.
Mm-hmm.
He may have also multiple barriers, and with only 11 force, you can squeeze out the First Light and Zuckuss for 10, and you'd have 1 to battle. But if you barrier Zuckuss, the First Light doesn't draw by itself.
True.
So it's not really a concern. Also, he didn't take the First Light. He would still have to activate and pull it. He took Dread and Voss with I never asked for anything twice. So he might already have it, or he might have to dig for it. But Matt here obviously getting a very cheap flip, getting lucky with Leia and Cal-Fal. So he could also...
Leia is going to be one of those cards that's really important. You don't...
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good opening hand start for Matt. Leia is the bane of decks like this. I mean, Wounded Warrior may come into play to cancel her text at some point, but... yeah, she's really difficult to work around with the deck that's entirely aliens, except for Maul, basically.
There's Maul. There's also...
maybe Ventress, right?
Ventress. And then you have maybe a droid or 2.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions that we asked Mike and Sam last week on Holo Theater was, how do you get around the Leia with this Shadow Collective? And Mike's answer was Wounded Warrior. What was his most popular answer?
Yeah. That's a pretty good one. The other option too that Matt has now also, since he flipped, he can pull the docking bay and he could also land Harksef
That's yeah,
if
that's very true.
if he was even concerned about it. He could land Harksef, move him to the 1-0.
And I like Matt going out with the Menace Fades there
Mhm.
because now, I mean, even if he can leave the Hark Staff, he can leave the Leia there. That shuts down that drain of at the non-battleground. I mean, and it saves him the shield just for 1 or 2 turns.
Mhm. And Menace Fades, both players getting some really good cards out
Mm-hmm.
very early. Usually stuff like you're digging for or checking your piles and going, all right, let me start drawing because I know this is in there.
Yeah.
We've seen them hit both of them in their opening hands and or whatever Matt may have just pulled. Maybe Menace was the card he took.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like we don't know what Matt has taken with his force pile pool from keeping your eyes.
And he'll have another pull at the start of Mike's turn. Obviously, he's going to leave that 4 force there,
Mm-hmm.
take 1, he'll still have the 3, just to bluff the whether it's a hit, it's a trap rather, or alternatives for space, or just barriers and stuff. So
Yeah, he's got lots of options, especially with that 3-4 save. Again, Mike only activating 11 right now,
mhm.
and Matt not getting out the docking bay. He didn't put down another site as well, so and I think that was to like choke Matt or choke Mike a little bit. Mike skipping past his control phase, going straight to the deploy phase.
And it will be curious to see what Mike decides to do with Maul. Does he bounce Maul right to Cloud City? Does he leave Maul on the first light and just use all his other characters?
I mean, one
And
nice
again,
thing. Sorry, I was going to say one nice thing about the mall there is you do get that +1 to your total battle destiny from the first light. But again,
mhm.
the prospect of having Maul on Cloud City, just trying to wreak as much havoc as you can, I think that might be the better play. Now, one thing that I don't like is Mike could easily just teleport Maul from the first light to the upper plaza corridor with Dryden Study.
He could, but it's move phase action, so
True.
he can go park at a non-battleground and then Calthal just moves away.
Yeah. I know that's like one of the strategies with Shadow Collective against Yavin 4 operations is just to move Maul to the Yavin
War Room.
4 War Room, start draining for at least 2. So annoying.
Sure. Leia Rebel Princess kind of makes that less of an option here, though, because he'll just cancel the first 2 drains
True.
and then eventually find the site and just cancel the rest of them.
Matt, Mike deep in the tank right now. Okay, so Dryden Voss going down for 5 force in front
And
of
that's
Leia.
and that's the other problem too, is the +1 from the system
Yeah.
adds up very quickly with a lot of these guys because they're already most of them are deploy 4 or 5 or they're 3 or 4 for the most part. Now they become 4s and 5s.
Dryden does grab a blaster.
I think we're just going to see Maul move over with Dryden.
Oh, if he's got the Wounded Warrior here, he can get rid of Leia. And then hopefully bury her, or I'm sorry, bury her in the lost pile.
Yeah. Voss not drawn by himself also makes that
True.
a little bit of a risky play just to squeeze him out. So he is going to move the Maul over and just be content to take this site away for now and force Matt to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get a drain of 1 in space with Harksef, and then he's got to adjust and adapt. Mike gets a little extra force activation going. Matt will probably give him another location as well. So he'll have 14 to work with next turn.
And that's one thing. Now that Matt is flipped on the 7 side of his objective, he's not able to pull his non-docking based sites. So he's either going to have to draw into them or search out them for his force pile.
Mm-hmm. Unless he already had it in hand and was sitting on it, but yeah.
Ooh, that's a bad card for Mike to lose. Asajj Ventress off the top.
Yeah, that one will sting a little bit. Unless he's got no escape already, because I mean he's been having such a good draw. Why wouldn't he have no escape already and freely? Sometimes you want to top deck something good
Yeah.
because you're okay with it and just knowing you're going to take it into hand next turn.
And I forget who told me that was a strategy that people use against like Hunt Down, where you lose the top card of your deck and then you no escape whatever's back, or you Unita it just so you can get that extra card.
Hmm.
As we see Matt take a card out of his force pile with keeping the Empire out forever.
Yeah, he's got quite a nice plethora of options here, shall we say.
Yeah, he saved 3 from his last turn after he took 1 card out. So he's got 16 cards in there right now. So now,
Mhm.
knowing that you have that Maul and Dryden, two kind of important characters for Matt, or I'm sorry, Mike, are on the table. Like, I think you can just spread if you're Matt here.
I think so. I think he'll reinforce in space a little bit. He'll put
Mm-hmm.
if he has the 2/1, he'll the north is it North Corridor? He'll get
Yeah.
that site out. He can bounce Leia to the 1-0 if he wants, or just slide her over. Deploy guys to the other side of Cloud City. Like he's going to put it on the other side of the Upper Plaza corridor, as far away from Maul and Voss as possible, to make them have to
Yeah.
walk all the way across Cloud City.
And it's quite the walk from what I hear.
Right. And meanwhile, he's just canceling drains every step
Yep.
of the way.
Neon Nub going down to the wild card. I love the image of Neon Nub. I really wish that Matt was using the AI that came out for April 1st.
Yeah, he's a solid card.
Sees a lot of play in QMC, sees a lot of play in Watch Your Step.
Yeah.
There's
we
Maz
got.
Kanata.
I wish we got to see what the cards were. He's taken Dean Djarin, but we don't get to see what the other two were.
Yeah, that's one of the few things that I'm not a huge fan of with like something like that. Now, Mike does get to see them because you have to reveal all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Maz does not count for a species because she doesn't have one that we know of. She's
No,
like
he's got 3 on the table right now.
yeah, she's like Grogu. Leia moves over for 1 in the move phase. So menace phase is still in effect.
And I'll move Cowfowl as well and just kind of lock things down. Now, here's the interesting thing is depending on what order Mike chooses to do this in, and if Matt pulls the shield. Matt doesn't have a lost pile, so there's nothing for Leia to cancel the drain with. So technically, if he
Mm-hmm.
drains first and then does the ping damage from You'll Be Dead, he would get both force losses through this turn anyway.
Yes, and that's also if Matt doesn't pull battle plan here. Like we
Right.
probably are going to see it. Matt also taking a card out with keeping the Empire out forever. Now he only has 3 cards in there right now, so this tells us that he does not have alternatives, or he is not worried about it.
Yeah, I don't think he's as worried about it now. He's got the second ship there. He's got, good immunity on both of these ships here. He's
Mm-hmm.
adding a Destiny to power. He's adding 1 to the total with the wild card.
Now the Zuckuss and Forlom in the Mist Hunter cancel all those Destiny to powers.
It does. It does cancel that out. But he has a power advantage over that. He'd be 10
True.
to 5.
Okay, there's the
And
battle plan, and Mike does not elect to drain, so Matt's going to have to lose 1.
at this point, it wouldn't surprise me for Mike to just put Zuckuss over at Gaul. Just to start getting around battle plan and to set up his ability to start removing people from battle if he ever gets to battle anywhere.
True. Now, my only thing about that, though, is like I understand setting up for the battle plan and everything, but the problem that I'm seeing is he's still going to have to pay that 1 extra force to go down to Bespin each turn, like for each character. So, I mean, if he can, say, go down to Bespin kind of light and then possibly move over to Gaul, that might work in his favor.
I don't know that you have enough muscle in a space package of
Yeah.
Shadow Collective.
If he's got, like, say, the laser cannon batteries, I know some people run that in Shadow Collective. Like, you can get rid of the wild card and then do some damage.
If he were running laser cannon batteries, I would be surprised at that. It's not something I've seen Mike do before.
I've seen it like in a few Shadow Collectives. I forget exactly who. Okay, there's a gun on Maul and Lady Proxima going down to the first light.
and there's Zuckus going to Gaul. So
Yeah.
he's gonna get to his 3 battlegrounds. He's gonna flip his objective because the gangsters control 2 sites now.
Yeah, he's going to start doing some damage with that. I mean, we saw that he has the "you'll be dead" pings in effect right now too.
He
And there,
does,
yep, there's the
as
other
Sam.
grabber, as
hmm
Sam said.
Yep, he does have that grabber in there. So now he's got the ability to get the ship back should he lose it. But more importantly, he can also get a grabber ping there. He'll do a objective damage at the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Proxima can start funneling some cards to get him more characters. And this also, the fact that she's there by himself, 100% tells me Mike has a stunning leader in hand.
Yeah, I agree. It's like Sam predicted this, like, what, 5-10 minutes ago. Like, I feel like Sam will probably be outside of these two guys. Sam is probably the person out there who knows this matchup the best.
Might have play tested it once or twice,
Yeah.
He might be familiar with it, yeah. I mean, Eric does make a good point
Oh,
that
there goes a
yeah,
Cloud City celebration right off the top.
that's nice. That's 1 down, unless he's got an Unita.
Yeah. So now the real question is: so knowing that you have Matt and Mike, both teammates, playing in the finals, who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for an excellent match played by both players where neither one of them is feeling like they lost because they did something stupid.
As we see Hondo and Naka go off the top, that is the most diplomatic answer you could have said.
Not my first rodeo.
There's a reason why you're in the Hall of Fame.
That's it. It's not because I won world championships. It's because I'm just very diplomatic at the way I talk to people now.
I was going to say, you did a lot of the work with the store. You helped run the MPC. I mean, I think it was you, Greg Shaw, and Bill Kafer who started up the MPC, correct?
Greg and Bill started it, had the idea, launched it. I said, "Hey, this is great. How can I help out?" And just kind of got involved with it and did it for what, like 14
Yeah.
years until we stopped running it last year.
And lo and behold, 2 out of the 3 people are in the Hall of Fame.
Bill, what's going on? Come on.
I've been saying that about Bill for a while. What's going on, Bill? See, Matt is in the tank right now in his control phase, taking a card out of this force pile. Now, he attempted to pull, he revealed 3 cards off the top of his reserve deck with Maz. However, he missed on all 3.
That's probably not the best sign for Mike because it means that they were probably 3 red cards.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily want 3 red cards. Now, Mike has 2 blasters, so he can put those back. They essentially cover 6 forfeit right now for him.
Mm-hmm. Matt's thinking to himself now, do I take the site? Do I get the docking bay? Like, how do I spread and kind of sprawl here to
Mm-hmm.
get away from these guys and force, Mike to do something here? I'm sure losing the 2 celebrations is pretty common. So losing the first one stings a little bit because now if a canceller does come out,
Yeah.
he would have lost both of them then. Yeah.
But the thing is, Mike has been running Masterful Move non-combo in his Shadow Collector for a while, just because it's a Destiny 6.
Yep.
So you have to think that Matt is aware of that, and he's not really fearing his Cloud City celebration being canceled, unless,
Right.
of course, Mike decided to go with the combo out of like the blue. But again, he would have had to anticipate something like
Right.
a QMC in the finals to about a month ago.
And that's the thing too, the fact that there's like a month gap here, because it's something that, obviously comes up in team chat from time to time when we're talking about like, hey, this or that, like what's the meta looking like? Do we need to make this adjustment? But if you're talking about having to submit a deck list a month ago, yeah, that's an adjustment that may not have been made back then.
So there's the North Corridor going down, as you predicted, all the way away from Maul and Dryden Voss.
Mm-hmm.
And really quick, I see that Brian Fred is in the chat right now. Brian, I noticed that you were playing a game against Garrett Larson right before this game. Would you like to tell us who won that game? And there's
Yes.
the docking bay as well.
Hmm.
Brian's saying no, he does not want to tell us who won the game.
I'm guessing that means he lost.
I don't know how he would have lost because it looked like everything was going Brian Fred's way.
Well, Brian Fred, he's able to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory anytime.
Din Djarin going down to the North Corridor.
He'll have at least one friend, if not two, coming shortly.
Yeah, and you would think that like Leia, Cal Fal, Maz, they're going to move. Now, do you move them for free to the Upper Plaza corridor, or do you move to pay to move them to like the guest quarters?
Um, Depending on what else he puts out here, I mean, Calfal's got land speed 3. Calfal could walk over to Dean Djarin.
Ooh, and Ray going down in front of Lady Proxima. There's the barrier from Mike. Now, Matt still has 7 cards in his force pile here.
He does.
And Matt's going to grab that.
He's going to get a use pile pull. He could easily pull another character here now. He's not going to get overflow on Proxima.
Probably not.
And Mike only saving the 1 force and using it for the barrier. You'd think quite a mercenary is a pretty common card. Matt may have had it to cancel the stunning leader anyway. We've seen a lot of people taking stunning leaders out of their deck because of how popular quite a mercenary is, and how easy it can be for people to not attack until you have the canceller.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like you said, he's going to go get another card with Ray through the use pile. He could possibly get another card from the force pile before he goes down to fight. There's Lobot going down for free.
Sight with a scalp link.
And Cardoon, we might actually see a little bit of overflow here. It's 6-2 in power. Cardoon is pretty good. I mean, she only makes them forfeit -3, but she can draw multiple. She can fire twice. So if she hits twice, that's forfeit -6. Proxima is only a 6, I believe, right?
Yeah. Although Maul can subtract to make sure
True.
he misses.
That would hit without unless unless Mike does subtract 1 from the Maul.
Because it is a blaster, or is it not a blaster? It is a blaster rifle, so yeah.
Yeah.
He might have the GIC anyway, and he's just not overly concerned about it. But again, losing that card draw ability.
Yeah,
and
that's the bigger issue.
Yeah, and Matt wisely is just going to keep shooting, because why not?
Pew pew.
Keep making it forfeit.
Yeah, she's forfeit 0 now. And she's an Alderanian, so she adds to the Ancient Watering Hole. So now Matt adds the 5 aliens he needs to have that proc.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Lobot have a species too?
No,
No.
Din Djarin. So Din,
Yeah.
Kara, Calfal, Harksef, and Nia Nub.
Yeah.
And he draws a 6 for Destiny. That's not good for Mike. Mike does draw a 4, so he's going to be down by 6. Oh, I'm sorry, he's only going to be down by 5.
Yep. And with Watering Hole also active, he gets a forfeit +1 bonus. So he'll lose Lobot to keep Watering Hole in effect, because Lobot doesn't have a species.
So Cardoon's going to sit there with Ray at the first light. And again, with Ancient Watering Hole, Mike's staring down some nice damage from Matt next turn. Mike taking his time, thinking about what he wants to do, if he's going to lose first. And he is going to lose first, so this tells me he might have the No Escape in his hand.
He's playing the imbalance.
Oh, okay. So
combo to retrieve.
Oh, I like that. So he loses the Wounded Warrior off the top to play the imbalance combo to get Hondo and Naka back. Okay. There goes Proxima. And there's the gig. Okay.
It would have been... Yeah, I'd have been completely dumbfounded if Mike had just thrown Proxima down by herself with nothing but 1 barrier to protect her.
Yeah.
Against a deck that can go get any card it wants and activate 16 force. Like, that's like a day 1 move, and Mike's a better player than that, so.
You're right. That's something that Brian Fred would do.
I mean, sometimes you got to go big and go no guts, no glory kind of move, but at the same time, this early on in the game in the finals, like, why set yourself up for a 5, 10, 15 force overflow
Hmm.
in a game that you can probably keep, even if you lose to, single digits, 10, 12, and then at least make game two playable instead of being
Yeah.
like, yeah, I lost the finals on turn three. Like, how'd you do that? I let Proxima by herself with what? Nothing. Oh, okay. Did you just not want to play but didn't want to concede? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mike's better than that. Oh, apparently Brian Fred forgot to pull his Leia shield against Brigham. I don't know when that happened.
I,
So Din Djarin is all by himself at the North Quarter. You got to think that Matt has Path of Least Resistance in his hand.
yeah.
Leia, Calfal, and Maz do all move away to the Upper Plaza Corridor. So again, Matt has Menace Fates still in effect. Sees some ping damage from the You'll Be Dead. There goes Figure and Dan and the modal nodes off the top.
Another.
Second, Maz Kanata off the top to the drain at Gaul. And the drain at the West Gallery will be canceled.
Yeah. You got to start shooting it through Leia because you're never going to chase her down. Plus, the Wounded Warrior is already gone. I don't know if he's got two in this version or
Yeah.
not. So you have to just let her start canceling these drains of one, and then you can work on getting some other damage through later.
Yeah, I mean, the Menace phase is going to be really important, and Mike's got to do something about that.
Gonna be a little challenging because unless you're gonna block him in space,
And
I
as we
don't
see
see.
Aura Singh go down in front of Din Djarin, she comes down for 5 force.
Mhm.
And like we said, the +1 to the deploy of all the characters to the Cloud City, that's not something Mike wants to deal with this entire game.
It does add up a little bit. It does chip away at what you can do. You usually get two characters out instead of three. But now the question is if you're Matt, do you path Dean Jarin away or do you path Leia over and just block out his ability?
That's a good question, and it really comes down to what Mike comes down with, because you got to think that he's going to come down with another character as Hondo drops down to the bar.
And there's another gangster at a second site, so he'll flip in the battle phase.
Mm-hmm.
No escape for the Gick. Okay.
Now that I do like.
No escape V. Interesting.
Uh, it's good against Ellis and Nabron, and it stops Landing Claw, which I mean he's got the first light in his deck, so
It's true. And I guess honor isn't something we really ever see anymore, or something he could most likely get around by occupying three battlegrounds anyway.
And the other thing is, like, I really don't think that anybody in the top 8 was going to be playing Mind What You Have Learned. I think that's the most popular deck for Honor. Maybe Zero Hour.
Hmm.
Okay, and Mike goes and looks for a card with the First Light Bar missing. This tells us that he's not playing Erica, or she's not in the reserve deck.
Yeah, I don't think she an assassin. She's just a musician. She's not
Well, I think the bar pulls you a musician.
right, but objective wise, you can't deploy her.
Oh, yeah.
Assassins, gangsters, bounty hunters. I don't know if that version of Mara is an assassin. Let's go
Mm-mm. No.
check that just because I'm always forgetting.
And now he dropped down 2 guns for 1 force each.
No Black Sun. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a killer
That's
too.
yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Like, yes, he's getting 15 force, but he's using all of it for little ticky tack stuff.
No, Erica is musician and spy only. No assassin.
Mm-hmm. I know in the Batmouse's Batmall deck, you could pull Erica with the first light bar.
Because he's using the.
He's using slip sliding away with the Maul's chamber. Uh, his other sight is the first light bar. Pulls the first light bar, starts retrieving with her, and then throws a bunch of B2 battle droids at your face.
Oh, right.
That was before everything changed and Batmouse's deck was ruined and he got sad.
Hmm.
As we
Okay.
see, Mike does initiate a battle, draws a 4 to shoot Din Djarin. He can add 1 here to make Din Djarin hit.
He can, and then we'll see if Matt plays the rescue.
And that's what I think we're waiting on is Matt to play the rescue here because he's got the first action.
You would pass, let him
And then,
use
yep.
Maul.
Yep,
Yep,
and
then
there's the
cancel.
rescue. Wow, good call.
Yep.
It's like you know this matchup.
I may have played a game or two of Star Wars in my time. You learn a few things in 25, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is now.
And there's Maz coming over. Now, I like Maz coming over because that subtracts 1 from the total battle destiny, or Mike's total battle destiny. He's
Hmm.
already used the Maul. It
Yep.
adds another battle destiny because now there's enough ability for Matt to draw 2.
Hmm.
And Din Djarin's just going to say, hey, Ara Singh, you're going to go lost and I'm going to retrieve a force.
Yep, or
Yeah.
2.
And Maz is immune.
Oh, he only has 1 force available. Okay, so yeah, he can only retrieve 1.
Yeah. Now, the only issue is if Din Djarin goes away, the Ancient Watering Hole gets turned off.
It's a possibility. I mean, obviously, he could just lose Maz.
Yeah, and he retrieved 1 with Leia, so he knows that she's on top.
Now that's why he's searching with Harksef to move that around.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, getting, 2 battle destiny here. His guys are immune to less than 4. Maz is completely immune because of Watering Hole.
Yeah.
And subtracting 1 from the total, Maul's already, like you said, used his
Oof.
ability.
And he
So
draws
this,
a 3. That's going to become a 2. So
mm,
Din Djarin and Maz are going to stick around, and Matt's about to draw 2. Draws a 1 for his first one.
no Yakshit, so
Yeah, he lost. He ended up losing a Yoxkit. He draws a 5, so that's enough to clear the gun and Aura Singh.
hmm
Now, it's not going to make not going to make Mike use his Gick.
no.
So, but more importantly, now Matt's going to be doing a lot of damage on his next turn.
Yeah, because that's the other thing about Watering Hole. It's not even like where you have an alien, it's just your force drains are plus. There's been a growing debate lately about changing that card and trying to balance it a little bit more
I say
to not work.
the first thing we're going to do is if we're going to change it, we get rid of the fact that it's a C slip, make it a full art image, and then we do the errata on the game text. I'm a firm believer it is time to abolish all C slips as much as we can.
There you go. They are a little annoying to cut out.
Yeah. Like I've got a set of X-Acto knives and I've thought about using that for them, but it's too much work. As we see the Shadow Collective ping, Matt will lose It's a Hit from the top of his reserve deck. So, funny enough, life force counts and hands are exactly the same. But the bigger issue right now is Matt's about to do a lot of damage. 2, 4, 6, 7 damage.
Yep.
As we see Mike uses I've never asked for anything twice to go fetch out the first light.
Yeah, Mike knows he's top decking some cards here and doesn't want to risk losing the ship.
Oh, yeah. Maz will look at the top 3 cards of Matt's deck. He pulls Solo. One nice thing about Maz is she can do it at any point on your turn, whereas Lady Proxima only does it in the control phase.
That is a huge advantage that Maz Kanata has over Lady Proxima.
And here we go. So Solo coming out. That's a pretty good card on the wild card.
Yeah, we see a lot of people run Han Chewie Falcon in this because it's just so easy and convenient to just pull it all out. But
Han's a
certainly
smuggler. He's a Carillion. And, yeah, I mean, the ability to play a card from your lost pile is pretty good.
it's pretty good. Plus having Chewie as well. We saw Chewie with Bowcaster get drawn for Destiny. Gives you another guy with the weapon and a little more versatility and another strong alien with high power. And yeah,
Okay, so here we go. I never asked for anything twice off the used pile. Dark Time for the Rebellion V off the reserve deck. Hondo Anaka, Force Push, Tentacle. And for the last strain at Bespin, we got Masterful Move and Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba. I think Dr. E is probably the card you did not want to lose there. Granted, you have Gull, so.
Right.
But I think the reason you don't want to lose them is they're 6 power, they draw Destiny on their own, they come down for 4. You can put a gun on them.
Yeah, Mike certainly got his back against the wall here in terms of just damage output and retrieval potential and things like that Matt has working for him.
Well, Matt, that's the one nice thing is Matt has not gone and got out his second copy of Cloud City Celebration.
No, and he's keeping himself versatile and open for the way he wants to move his people around and things like that, and not try and get locked down or committed into anything just yet. Especially too, because he only has 4 cards in his lost pile, so it's not like he needs to get it out now to start retrieving it before Mike draws up. I mean, he's got 26 cards left face down. If Mike starts drawing up, Celebration doesn't change much of anything. It's pretty much thanks for playing.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I don't think Mike's going to draw up anytime soon. Not with 17 cards in his Life Force.
He still has.
He's got 8 cards in his hand, 17 in his Life Force. I mean, it's still fairly early.
He still has. I mean, it's only turn 4, but I mean, you're down to 25 cards by turn 4.
Yeah, that's not good. Like he's going to have to do something here to turn the tide of to change up the numbers here. Okay, Yoda, Keeper of the Peace, going down to the docking bay.
We might see the Celebration right here. He's got the second battleground now, and again, staying as far away from. Now, Maul can move to where the Jedi is.
Yes, but it's only during the opponent's control phase.
Right. So you move to block the drain,
and that would be That would be before your Matt would drain. Now the only thing is that would leave Dryden Voss kind of exposed.
It could. I mean, obviously you'd plan ahead for that, right? You'd put somebody else with Voss, knowing that you're going to move Maul over.
True. Matt again taking his time here. Matt sitting at about 24 minutes and a half on his timer. Mike sitting at almost 34 minutes on his. So again, don't think this match is going to go to time, or at least this game.
Matt is 100% a very methodical player. Take his time and think through all his actions. Certainly something that has probably led to his success over the years in the way he strategizes and plan things out. Minimizing the mistakes. But in a situation like this where you do have a specific clock timer, I know he has given a number of us a little mini cardiac arrest with some of his games where we're like, he's so far ahead, but he's got 3 minutes on his clock and his opponent has like 15. You're like, and then you just watch him go into turbo mode and just start grinding out cards.
Yeah. Solo going down to Leia's guest quarters.
He's just going full spread here, knowing that Mike can only probably put down 1 or 2 characters.
And that's the thing, like we said, Mike has no Black Sun leader on the table, so if he wants to put down any Black Sun guns, they're going to cost him a force. The +1 from Bestman is hurting him. I mean, Matt just got 2 more force, 1 from the docking bay, 1 from Yoda. I mean, it's almost like he put down a 2-1. And I like that Cara Dune now moves over to the non-battleground. This tells me that it's a hit, or he has another path of least resistance, because that's going to work there in the first light.
Yeah, that's another fun little fact there, is that those are mobile locations. So the Cloud City deck that has these path of least resistance cards that they're used to using around on their own sites, you can use on your opponent's locations too.
Yeah.
Mike's got to leave at least 1 or 2 force back. He can recirculate if he hits anybody, or actually he doesn't even have to because he controls 2 battlegrounds.
Yeah.
He can only activate 15 anyway, though, so he activated as much as he possibly could, but he does have the potential to flip, and he will flip automatically in his battle phase, and then he'll recirculate and could draw multiple destinies.
So, but now again, Leia has been used once already this game. There is a
Mhm.
3 on top, so I think if you're Mike, you might want to start with the damage at the West Gallery. Like, do that drain, make it so that he has to put a known 3 back on top first before you do your You'll Be Dead, before you drain anywhere else. And Mike does not have a grabber open to grab that escape pod, and we're doomed.
That stings a little bit too.
Yeah, because he was about to do 2 points of damage from You'll Be Dead.
Hmm. And without even a card to grab it, now you did zero. You don't even get to like. Sometimes it's a 2-for-1 trade because at least you grab the card and take it out of the equation. But
There goes an Ascension Guns off the top to the drain at the first light bar. There's a Rebel Barrier off the top to the drain at Gull. Now, this is like if you're Mike, do you drain here at the West Gallery? Putting back a 4? Nope. He looks
no,
like he's going to go past that. Again, the You'll Be Dead does not trigger, so no 2 force loss for that card.
yeah, Matt can't quite get to it next turn to put it back in his force pile, unless he loses a couple more cards this turn.
Yeah. Our Sing going down. Now, one little bit of information. Don't believe that you can. Oh, wait, no. You can path of least resistance from the docking bay. You just can't.
No, it's interior.
Okay, that's right. I always get it confused. It's either. I know it's either the site
Yeah,
you can move to, but there's the Rebel Barrier from the Lost Pile to, from Solo. Wow.
that'll work too.
And Matt's just like, thank you, Mike, for draining me and putting that Rebel Barrier into my Lost Pile. So now Mike is back into the tank, thinking about what he wants to do this turn. Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba go down with Ray.
Ray, not an alien. She's only immune to less than 3.
Yeah, but you do get that +1 with. So you get the +1 from Ancient Watering Hole, and you get her +1.
He's just worried about just getting the character off the table at this point.
Yeah.
Kill a character. Don't need to drain it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, oh, and he's going to get hit with the second barrier.
Oh. Second barrier from hand this time.
I know, and it's messed up because you feel a little more confident when he plays the solo from the lost pile. Like, okay, he doesn't have anything in hand. I don't have to worry about him putting anything back,
Yep, and there's
and then
the.
he slow rolls you with the second one.
Yep, getting a gun onto Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan. And like you said, though, he is going to flip this turn, so he's going to get that extra little bit of damage. But the fact that Matt had both barriers there, one in the lost pile and one in hand, is just oof. Okay, there's the objective flip, but again, like we said, no battles or anything from Mike, so he goes straight to his move phase.
Hmm.
Maul gonna move over in front of Leia and Solo. Dryden Voss over in front of Cal Fowl. I mean, he's got the Gick in hand, so
Right.
he's got to do something here.
He's obviously doing everything he can to just block damage to try and stretch this game out another turn or two, make Matt deploy more cards to the table because again, he doesn't have celebration and stuff out yet, right? So it's not like he's retrieving and he's just extending the game for Matt to get his whole loss pile back. He's just trying to make Matt deploy more cards to get that differential number down.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like every time that Matt deploys a card from hand, that's one force he's not going to lose to drain or the You'll Be Dead. That's essentially one force he's losing.
Mm-hmm. And also, if Mike forfeits some of these guns back to the use pile, it gives him a little more,
Yeah.
Collateral to work with as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mike checked out what's in his force pile. Matt took the last card into hand with Ray.
And this is where Matt shocks the world and plays Draw Their Fire, and then just initiates like 6 battles.
That would be insane. The objective flips back. Matt has to lose one. and he'll lose alternatives to fighting. Yep, that kind of makes sense because I don't think Mike is going to want to try to move to Bespin at any point.
No.
And Figure and Dan in the modal nodes comes out off the top of the reserve deck with Maskanata. I wonder if Matt tracked the modal nodes there.
I'm not sure if he was doing that, but I will tell you, most likely what he wanted to do was shuffle his reserve deck to try and move the escape pod We're Doomed combo.
That's a good point.
Because it was on the bottom, he wasn't going to be able to activate to it. Now he's
now
got
he can get it again. He can just start essentially looping it every turn.
A much higher probability that he can take it right back into hand now, and if he doesn't get these guns off the table, still absorb and block the force loss.
Well, right now it's only 2 because they have to be at a battleground.
They
Dragon
do.
Voss and Hondo are both at non-battlegrounds.
Right, but I mean, if you can just lose 0 instead of 1 or 2.
Yeah, losing 0 is better than losing 2. Well, depending on a certain point of view. If you're Matt, losing 0 is better. If you're Mike, you want to make him lose 2. So there goes the first light from Mike's hand. As well as a masterful move off the top.
So there's the second masterful move, non-combo. So again, playing the original version, or what the consensus version was a month ago. There goes Ballot Tick.
Oh.
Stunning Leader off the top.
Yeah, I had to get a Star Wars line in there somewhere. Stunning Leader off the top as well. So Matt is in his control phase. And I think, you know what, we're going to do a trivia question here after Matt's turn. So make sure you guys are ready for this.
I'm ready. What we got? I'm just kidding.
You know what? I'll include you in on it if you... Because this is going to be a good one. I'll be surprised if somebody gets it. And I'm actually going to put it in the chat just right now, just as a...
I do not know how to spell Dodo Bonanoido.
Yeah, Euros is... it's a celebration, Bill. Also, why aren't you in the Hall of Fame? You created the NPC. As Matt takes a look and sees what is in his reserve deck with the objective.
I'd be curious to see just how many battles Matt wants to start here. He may not want to start any. He may just shuffle his people around a little bit and be content to let Mike either let Mike battle him or, move off the non-battlegrounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind moving like Cardoon off a non-battleground. I don't mind moving Cal Fowl off a non-battleground. I mean, there's like, especially, well, at least Hondo. Like, you can leave Hondo there by himself. He doesn't do anything.
Right.
Dryden Voss, it is a drain of 2 there. But like we said, Leia still has one more.
Right.
So
Leia's got 1 cancel left because he didn't use it earlier, so.
I don't think Mike even drained at the West Gallery.
No, he didn't. He didn't drain to make him lose it. He should have done that first before he did the other damages.
Yeah, because there was a 3 on the top, then you make him lose it. And it's funny, if he would have made him lose it first, if he would have put the 3 back on top, lost it to one of the other drains, then he would have lost a 5. He wouldn't have had the barrier.
That second barrier, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Hindsight's real.
Yep. And those are the tiny little things sometimes that you wouldn't necessarily call them mistakes, but those could be the tiny little things that do influence the outcome of a game a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something that Sam talked about on last week's Holo Theater. Just the little things can make or break the game.
It's a game of inches, man. And one little thing bouncing, one destiny number, you know, you look at your reserve
And
deck and it's 5 5 5 4, and you're like, great, just don't draw the 4 and I win. And you draw the 4 and it's like, oh well,
okay, so Matt's going to go down with laser resistant transport to Gaul.
interesting. I mean, if you can kick him off, if he's got high destiny enough there, and
Yeah.
obviously he's getting +1 to the total.
Aloris Medak as a pilot.
Or he may just move over because the overseer could reach.
Yeah, it is. Has enough hyperspeed. I mean, the transport though is going to be stuck, I believe. So Yoxkit, Figure and Day, and all going down in front of Dryden Voss.
No, they're all hyperspeed. It's only 3 from
Oh, that's
Gaul,
right. Yeah,
Gaul to Bestman. So
Gaul is a 9, Bestman's a 6.
and there's
Numbers.
figure. Yep, and there's figuring as well going after Voss. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and like you said it before, Dryden Voss does not draw Destiny on his own.
Mm-mm.
Matt will recirculate with Figure and Dan.
And then shuffle. I guess he didn't like what he had. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the second time he's looked for an immediate effect, Matt. I don't think you play one.
He might. He's still got 5 cards in his force pile.
Here comes the advantage. Ready, go.
What, advantage over Maul?
Yeah. He's not battling Maul. He's going to kill Dryden Voss and then probably shuffle some people around.
Yeah, make him use the Gick here.
Now, interestingly enough, Gaul does not require you to control. It just requires you to occupy.
Very true. Cardoon's going to take a shot at Hondo. Hondo with ability advance value 3 draws a 5. That's going to hit Hondo.
hmm Gaul is also once per battle, too, so it's
Yeah.
not even a once per turn kind of action. It's a really overpowered system.
It is, but I mean, it's only
In
a
modern Star Wars.
1/1. It can't be
Yeah.
immune. It's immune to Revolution. That does not hit Cara Dune.
It does not. She's armor 5.
Yeah. But I mean, Cara Dune doesn't get Destiny there, so but she did her job. She got rid of Hondo.
hmm
Cara takes another shot,
Sure, why not?
and there's the second celebration. And there's the second hit.
Now, what made that +1? Is there... Oh, add 1 to your blaster weapon destiny draws is on the sights text. So Hondo is really getting shot. Could he rescue for a destiny there? That's a good question. Let's check a look at the.
I think it's just Bestman.
During battle, draw 1 battle destiny if unable to otherwise. So that's at a system or Bespin location, right? Yeah. So
Cara Dune is lost as he does draw a 4 for Battle Destiny. So Cara Dune goes lost, and Hondo with the gun go lost.
yeah, that's the downside to not having a battle destiny draws. There's no attrition, so you can't forfeit the gun. You just lose the guy.
But again, Cara Dune did all that work.
hmm Now it's almost like you don't want to battle Voss.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't get a destiny draw by himself, but if he hits one of your guys, you may not either.
That's true. Well, no, he would have to hit Figure and Dan.
Yeah.
That's the only thing is he would have to hit Figure and Dan.
Which he might have another rescue, because rescue is on the something special plan for him, so it wouldn't cost him force to play it. So he could potentially battle there and then just rescue the weapon destiny. And
But he
again,
has enough force to say play path of least resistance to move like Leia over or somebody over. So Ray's going to move over.
He's just going to shovel some people around here.
Yeah, I think that's the right play. Ray says, Arsing, you're scary, but you don't do anything against me. Solo moves away for free. And I think you're right. I think he's got to move like the Overseer over or the wild card. Because I don't believe the transport has any immunity up there.
It does not, but again, it's not a big concern because, again, you battle, you're drawn decently.
Mm-hmm.
You're +1 against theirs. What's the worst case scenario? You lose Elors because he covers what, 6? 5.
True.
And again, you don't really necessarily care about that. You're just trying to block a drain, force Mike into doing something.
So let's see if Matt went out ahead and grabbed the escape pod combo here. As Mike was going to play point man to go put a card back and to get a card. And he's only getting the 1 card out of his force pile, but I think he just wants to put that 5 back.
He's putting the 5 back and he's putting a 7 on the bottom.
Yeah. Okay, so I did promise us a trivia question. So it's going to go into the chat. I'm also going to read it for anybody who is not paying attention to the chat. The trivia question is, what were Mike's and Matt's light side and dark side from the 2022 GEMPC finals?
Is this where he played?
Top 8. What did they play in the top 8? Because it was one deck through the entire thing.
Is this where he played the Hitco Shield Buster?
No, I'm not. Nope. I'm not.
Is that where? Maybe. I think that was about the time that deck came out, right? Maybe.
No, 2023. I was in Pittsburgh. I think. But go back to 2022. What decks were popular?
I barely remember what I had for breakfast this morning. All right. Well, you guys think about that in the chat. He plays the escape pod combo. Negates the 2 force loss from You'll Be Dead. He only gets the drain of 1 through with Dr. E.
And there goes a Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi. I mean, he could drain with Maul here. And Prince Shizor going down in front of the Figurin Dan and modal nodes. Logan, was that a guess? Because I'll be honest.
I'm going to guess he went and looked it up, right?
I'm hoping he did. Who played what, but for bonus points?
Now, interestingly enough, he puts the Prince in front of Figurin, who's the only guy who draws if unable to otherwise.
Yeah.
And not in front of Ray or Maz, who don't get a Destiny.
You got to get rid of Figurin Dan. It's retrieval.
I mean, it is, but at the same point in time, he's not there. He's got to
Logan
get to a second.
is saying that he watched it on YouTube recently. But yes, you are correct. Matt Harrison-Trainor played Rops V and Old Allies. Mike Kessling played Shadow Collective and Old Allies.
There
well
you go.
done, Logan.
Good job.
Logan, member of the top 4 from this year's GEMPC.
Okay, so Mike does get Jabba out as well to get to his 2 battlegrounds to flip so he can recirculate.
And he misses on the shot.
Sith Fury, redraw, nothing? Nope.
Nothing. Nope.
He can,
nope.
he can add a Destiny to power because he is on the flip side.
True.
And then draw a Battle Destiny. So he might just do enough damage that he has to lose Figurin or peel 3 or 4 cards, in which case then you probably just lose Figurin.
Yeah. Mike has to make him lose Figurin here.
Obviously, that's not what he was looking for. He was hoping to get the shot, hit him, erase him with Gaul from the battle and move on, but sometimes it's the little things that make a difference in a Star Wars game, and that would certainly be one of them right there.
100%.
And now, is Matt thinking about a path? Pathing out of the battle? It's Matt's action. His clock's running away here. As Mike has 28 minutes and Matt now has less than 12. He is going to path.
Yep.
He's going to move
Pathing
Maz.
over Maz in. Yep, he paid the 2 force for it. Maz coming over, joining Figure and Dan. So now you might not necessarily have to make him lose the Figure and Dan.
Nope. He might not get the overflow now because the
Yeah.
Destiny draw is -1. Lightside's Destiny is +2.
Yeah, that's... So he does draw 5 for his total power.
I mean, that helps.
He's up to 10. Draws a 2, so it's 12 to 6. But like you said, Destiny's +2 here. And unfortunately, Figure and Dan and Maz Kanata are both immune.
And even if you add one with Maul, it doesn't help because
Yeah.
still immune.
Going to bring you back up to a 3 instead. Yeah, that's... The cards have not been in Mike's favor this entire game. And Matt draws a 4 for Destiny. It's going to become a 6. He does subtract 1 to make it a 5, so that's...
He gets an overflow.
Shizor and the gun.
But he gets an overflow.
He does get 1 point of damage in. Wow.
So Matt had to burn a card from hand. And now he has to lose a card, so...
But he's at 20 in Life Force.
He was at 26 just a turn or two ago when he seemed totally in the driver's seat. So Mike whittled now 7 cards off the Life Force. Yeah. But yeah, obviously not at all going how Mike would have hoped. And, Matt's played this incredibly well.
Yes. Agreed.
And it's not an ideal matchup for Shadow Collective to begin with. It's probably one of the matchups it probably doesn't want to see.
And like we said multiple times, both players did not know what was going to be played if they got to this point.
Right.
Dryden Voss moves over in front of Maz and Figure and Dan. Dr. E and Pondababa move over in front of Ray. So now Matt's only going to be doing 3 points of damage here.
And he had to lose 1 more when the objective flipped back. So
yeah, he's saying it. He's only got 1 card in hand too. I know he's going to activate some, take a card out with keeping the Empire out forever, but like, what else can he really do?
And I think the instant celebration hits the table, Mike just draws up.
Agreed.
He's at the point where now he could. So Figure and retrieve 1, get him back up to 19. If he doesn't want to take any, if he takes a card, again, he stays at 18.
I think he's going to take a card, and I think the card that he wants to grab here is either the no escape, the escape combo, or he's going to want to grab the celebration. Either of those are the 2 cards he wants right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Matt has to play another couple turns, and again, the clock is a thing. If
he's Mike at 10 minutes,
if Mike keeps making Matt think and take his time on his decisions,
the clock is a real thing. Yeah, you said it.
He either forces him to possibly lose by a timeout in a game that he's way ahead in, or there's always a small possibility that Matt might rush something because he's afraid of the clock, which we have seen him do once before in a matchup.
Yeah.
Where he forgot to move somebody because his clock was at like 3 minutes and he ended up taking a bunch of overflow in that game.
Yeah. And I like the move from Maul there that blocks that drain. So, I mean, Mike was going to actually lose 5 force that turn if he didn't do that. But now he could theoretically fight with Maul if Yoda and Leia stay there. But I don't think that they will. Mike does lose 3 to the total drains. He loses the Stunning Leader, Kira, the Top Lieutenant, and the Imbalance combo. Yeah, I think if you're Matt, like, you're just going to keep putting cards on the table versus losing them because he's only got 10 cards in his lost pile. He does take a card out of his force pile with the effect, But he will retrieve a card. He retrieves the computer interface, a very key card in this matchup.
Just happy to have a force back. The other thing he can also consider too at some point is if he is going to do any of these battles,
And
there's the
there it is.
celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's certainly time to start padding the diff as much as possible. Um,
Yeah.
the other thing I was going to say too is that he could obviously, if he has another path Dean over, and then try and get some extra retrieval off of that
Yes.
text.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's got two paths on Mike's grabber, that's not good.
Hmm.
But you got to
Yeah,
think he's at least playing three.
three seems like a reasonable number,
Yeah.
but now it's celebration out.
Yeah,
He
he's
can,
staring down three retrieval a turn.
mhm. At least he's going to
At
move those
least.
guys off the north corridor. He could split the guys off the north corridor.
Yep. And Matt's going to battle up in space. So he knows what the destiny is.
He looked as long, just needs technically he needs, I guess, a 5 would clear.
A five would clear.
Hey, look, it's
Yep.
the
And
escape
it's the
pod
escape
combo.
pod combo. Wow. So that's going to get rid of that Zuckus and Mister. Now, again, Mike can get it back with the something special.
Hmm. But he'd be giving Matt a card back to do so.
I think, and that's what it comes down to. Like, is it more important to get him?
No.
Well,
At this point in the game, Mike's most likely drawing up next turn. Whatever damage he can push through, he's going to push through, and then, you know,
yeah, because I don't think, like you said, I don't think he's going to be able to drain anywhere because he's going to have to pay to drain. I mean,
mhm.
he might only get 1 point of damage in.
He may not even get that. He literally might just activate and draw up, and just to stop him from retrieving cards. Because now Matt's going to spread out all over Cloud City, and he's going
Yeah,
to cover all 4 battlegrounds, and he'll move Ray away. And then it's like, what, do you pay 3 to drain 1 with Jabba to make him lose the card in his hand, which just extends the game further, so then he retrieves 4? No.
yeah.
You draw up and take your loss by 18 and call it a day. And we're on to Cincinnati.
I don't get the reference. Oh gosh, this is how AJ feels.
It's a Belichick thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. He's just going to move Ray in front of Jabba and not even worry about it, I guess. Okay.
I mean, I think that's just to block the drain. But like you said, I just don't know what Mike's going to do.
He wasn't going to pay to drain, that's for sure. Now, he also doesn't control Battleground, so he takes
Yeah.
away the option potentially of him having an easier way to flip during the control or battle phase, rather.
Yep. Dinjarin moves over, joining Maz and Figure and Dan.
Hmm. Other guys are going to the North Corridor.
Yeah. It's Solo Cal. You got to think Solo Calthal. And I like that he's actually using Force to do this because that way he has a reserve deck just in case. Yeah, Maz Kanata moves over,
Hmm.
and
He's
Mike
just
only has 2 cards in his hand.
he's got
That's
2
the other
cards
thing.
in his hand, 11 cards left to work with. He can't flip to recirculate, so he's got to leave 1 behind at least. And the card, I mean, that's what he just drew for Destiny, right? And it was not good.
Mm-hmm.
It was Danik Jericho.
Yeah.
So presumably either you have to shuffle your own deck first, or you have to leave at least 2 behind because the bottom one sucks.
I mean, Mike could play a shield here if he gets out like his fanfare shield. He can look for his own immediate effect.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what Matt is doing, just spreading all over Cloud City.
He's sprawling for sure, but he's down to 6 minutes.
That's the thing that is gonna be important. I don't think Mike's not the type of guy to try and force him to lose by the clock, especially that Matt is a teammate. Like, there's a reason why we say Mike Kessling is the one of the nicest guys in Star Wars.
But is it the same reason that we say Mike Kessling is not GEMPC champion?
No, no.
That's what we said about 5 minutes ago, Joe. Once Celebration hit the table, it was time to draw up.
Yeah. Joe about an hour and 10 minutes late.
He didn't miss. He didn't miss a whole lot. He's good.
No. Nia Nub shuttles down. I like the design of the characters on Cloud City. It kind of reminds me of a fish.
Oh, okay. I see what you're going for there. He's got a little tail at the end now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Celebration just came out this turn. Matt finally dug it out of the force pile,
Yeah,
got it set up, and it was basically we're like, okay, Mike's just gonna activate and draw here.
Ah, that's fair. Joe's saying that he's been having us in the background.
Well, thank you for lurking. Get that viewership count up.
I mean, it's kind of fitting that Joe Olsen was lurking. I mean, he is a spy.
Hmm.
A rebel spy in particular. So he's a Bothan spy.
You're not supposed to advertise that, though, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike
activate.
activates everything. Yeah, because he's not doing any damage here, so.
Go right to draw phase.
And that's what he's going to do.
And just draw it up, take your loss by 18, and see what you can possibly do in game number 2 on Thursday night.
That is 100% Mr. Petit. P-Tig.
And depending on what Mike has for light side, I mean, he certainly may have some options. In fact, winning by 18 or 19 might be possible if he's got, Hitco, if he's got, something that doesn't put a lot of cards on the table. He maybe has his own QMC deck.
Do you see that? Do you see Mike playing Hitco?
He could.
I mean, he's not playing. I don't think he's going to play a shield busting Hitco.
Probably not, but I mean, again, what's Matt likely to play for dark side for this? Thrawn?
Thrawn doesn't lose a lot. So.
Mike was asking about playing the game right now, and Matt's like, yeah, let's just wait till Thursday.
I like that. Mike saying about an hour. It dawned on him an hour ago. So it was after he started.
Yeah. Well, an hour before they started is what he meant. But yeah. So, great game by both players. They did the best they could given the circuit. I mean, Mike threw what he could at him.
I think they both played the best they could.
Yeah. They both played well, and nobody should really have anything to walk away from going, man, I really screwed that up. It was like you played the best you could with the hand that you were dealt, and keeping it to 18 at least makes game 2 feasible and will be interesting to see on Thursday night.
And it's going to be Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Garrett Larson with Tim Simon are going to be on the call on this channel, so make sure you tune in. Until then, everybody, enjoy yourselves, have a good evening, and as always, may the force be with you.
Take it easy, everybody.